everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you once again. Today, we are going to explore something simple yet transformative in the world of education. You know, education at its heart is about engagement, helping students to connect with ideas, make sense of them, and most importantly, think about what they're learning. Today, we are looking at how the Add Questions feature in Google Classroom can help us do just that, using something as ubiquitous as YouTube videos. But first, let's remind ourselves, technology, when used effectively, should not be about replacing teaching, but amplifying it. We often assume that when students watch a video, they are learning. But learning is an active process, not a passive one. It requires curiosity, engagement, and reflection. As I often say, the role of a creative teacher is not to fill students' minds with information, but to spark the flame of curiosity. So, how do we move students from passive observers to active participants? That's where embedding questions in YouTube video comes in. You see, by adding questions, we are creating space for students to pause, reflect, and critically engage with the material. Learning isn't something that happens to you. It's something you do. And this feature helps facilitate that process. Now, let's get practical. So this is how you will embed questions in a YouTube video through Google Classroom. Open your Google Classroom from here. Open your Google Classroom. Choose the classroom where you want to embed the questions in a YouTube video. Click on Classwork and then click on Create. Although we have multiple options, I'll go for the one that says Assignment, create an assignment. I'll call this assignment, let's say, photosynthesis. Here in the instructions, I will add a couple of directions or questions that will pique students' curiosity. So I have chosen a couple of questions here. For example, this is one. I'm going to copy this and insert here. After watching the video, imagine if humans could make their own food like plants do through photosynthesis. How do you think that would change the way we live? That's one question. I can add one more here just to make it a little more curious. This question, the video will show, and we'll just change it to, the video will show how plants perform photosynthesis to survive. What do you think would happen to Earth if plants stopped doing this just for one day? These two questions will pique their curiosity. These are not assignment questions. Assignment questions will come later on. Now, we're going to attach a YouTube video on photosynthesis. So let's say I would search for here, either I can insert a YouTube URL, or I can search for photosynthesis for 5th graders. I'll search for it, and I'll pick up any YouTube video, not long, it has to be somewhere, a YouTube video that ideally between 3 and 5 minutes. So let's say I'm going to choose this one, photosynthesis. And now I have selected this video, and here's a brief description of the video. And now I will start adding questions. Now to add question, I'll click on Add a Question. I'll go down here, and I will add the first question. It'll give me 3 options: multiple choice questions, checkbox questions, or an open-ended question. So let's say I will start with multiple choice questions. And the multiple choice question I want to insert somewhere, because the video is about 4 minutes long, and you can decide by watching the video first where you want to insert the first question. Ideally, it should be at least 30 seconds into the video, or maybe a little longer, so that there is enough information for students to answer this question. So let's say I would insert it at the 1 minute mark. So that will be 1 minute mark, and the first question I will ask is this: what do plants need to perform photosynthesis? And I have to give them multiple options here. So here are my 4 options. The first option, plants need water, sunlight, and oxygen. The second option, water, sunlight, and carbon dioxide. The second option, The third option that I'm going to give to students is soil, sunlight, and oxygen. And then the fourth option, water, soil, and carbon dioxide. And now, of these four options, I'll give them the correct answer. I'll click on that. This is the correct answer. B is the correct answer here. The second one, now save and continue. This is the first question. It has been added at 1 minute point in the progress of the video. Second question, I'll do a checkbox. The question will be, which of the following are the products of photosynthesis? Again, I'll give them multiple options: oxygen, carbon dioxide, glucose, and water. Oxygen, carbon dioxide, glucose, and water. And once again, I'll click on the correct option here. That will be glucose. The correct option here, oxygen and glucose. There are two of them, so I'm going to click both of the correct options here, save and continue. And then now I'm going to add one more question. You decide whether you want to add one question, two questions, or three questions, depending upon the complexity of the topic. So here is the third question, which I will leave as an open-ended question. So why do you think photosynthesis is important, not just for plants, but for humans and animals too? I'm going to save and continue. And now I have all of these options. I'm going to just change here the progression here. For example, this I can leave at 2 minute interval, and save and continue. And the third question I can leave at the third question I should leave at let's say 4 minute interval at the end of the video. So now I have one question set at 1 minute, then another at 2 minutes, and then 4 minutes. So I have multiple options listed here. I'm going to have this one at 2 minutes. Save and continue. And I have another question at 4 minute interval. So I have multiple questions here. I can also try this as a student. So as a student, if I'm looking at it, it will tell me the kinds of questions that are there, and the video will stop at the intervals that are in the questions, and then the students can answer the question, and only then it will follow. At this point, since I have to attach it to my assignment, so I'll go back to the editing part and then attach. And now look, the video has been attached to the photosynthesis assignment. Here I will add assign to all students, and I'll add a due date. Always recommended to give a due date. Let's say Friday the 13th as a due date. Time, depending upon the period you want to add a time. And also the grading category, you want to add a grading category as a test, as a quiz, whatever you want to give. You can add a grading category here. And if you want to sync the grades with your student information system, you can do that. And finally, hit assign. And this will assign the video to your students. That's all there to it. But why does this all matter? Why not just let them watch the video and call it a day? Well, education is about more than just transmitting information. It's about helping students make sense of the world. As I have said before, the fact that we all went to school doesn't make us all experts on education, any more than having a fast food meal makes us a gourmet chef. The same holds true for video learning. The technology doesn't do the teaching, we do. When we add questions to videos, we are asking students to stop and think, to be more than passive consumers of information. Active learning leads to deeper connections and stronger retention. Assessment should be a way to shape learning, not just measure it. By asking questions in the middle of a video, we are getting real-time feedback on student understanding, allowing us to adjust our teaching before students move on. This tool allows us to cater to different learning needs. We can craft questions that support those who need help and challenge those ready for more. As educators, we need to remember that every student learns differently. And one of the key tasks of education is to teach people how to think, not just what to think. Asking students to reflect on their understanding encourages metacognitive skills, helping them learn how to evaluate their own learning. Now, let's tie all this back to pedagogy of learning. One of the most important things we can do as educators is create environments that encourage students to actively engage with ideas. This tool helps us move toward a more constructivist approach to learning, where students build knowledge through their interactions with the material. And that's what the constructivist approach is in teaching and learning. Moreover, this interaction supports the universal design for learning principles, which encourage flexible learning environments that accommodate individual learning differences. Whether students are auditory, visual, or reflective learners, embedding questions gives all of them a chance to interact in ways that suit their learning styles. Technology, at its best, enhances the human experience in education. It amplifies our capacity to engage students in new ways. By embedding questions in videos, we create a richer, more interactive learning environment for our students. After all, imagination is the source of every form of human achievement. And it's the one thing that I believe we are systematically jeopardizing in the way we educate our children. Let's use the tools we have to ignite that imagination. If you found this video useful, please subscribe and join me for more explorations of how technology can enhance creativity in the classroom. Thanks for watching, and remember, keep fostering curiosity, for that's where learning begins. I'll see you next time. In the meantime, keep inspiring those bright young minds. Bye-bye.